Hello, I'm just setting up the live stream, so bear with me for a few moments. Won't be long. Seem to be fighting the internet at the moment, but I think having the stream sitting here for a moment isn't going to hurt anybody, so... Okay. Should be it, so I can now monitor the channel. So we are at Dubrovnik in Croatia, and we're going to go and have a look around the airfield. So this is the new Inibuilds rendition of Dubrovnik. So you can see it's a huge airport. Even though it only has the one runway, it's really, really impressively done. So let's go and fly our way down to the road on the way into the airfield. Actually, before we do that, should we just have a fly around the airfield itself? Just have a look at it, to see how the airport as a whole has been modelled. So you can see there's the car parks and the coach parking and the arrivals and departure hall over here. We'll come back and have a close look at them in a moment, but we're going to start out by having a look around the perimeter of the airport. Just speed the drone camera up slightly. So you've got a tank farm down here. And then it's quite sparse at this end of the airfield. There is a windsock in the middle, but we won't spend too much time down there. It's worth pointing out though, if you look down there, actually, yeah, let's go over here. The radio kit is all modelled really nicely. So if we come down and also look at the PAPI lights, the amount of detail they've gone to here is mad. But you haven't seen anything yet, so if we go back over towards the main part of the airfield, we're going through the public way in from the main road. So if we were to come in down here, so you can see straight away the quality of this is pretty amazing. So there is a sculpture here, or some fountains I should say, out the front of the arrival and departure hall. So if we go in through departures, we can have a look around. So it's worth pointing out, looking at the quality of the vehicles, they are very good. And the figures are very good as well around the airfield, or around the airport. So we'll get into that in a moment. So if we go in through the doorway here, oops, let me just get the height correct. So we've got all the self-check-in desks. And we've got some staff down here, so we can see what sort of mood they're in. They look quite happy, don't they? Though she looks like she's fed up of waiting. So it's worth pointing out this building has been wonderfully modelled and it's on multiple levels. So what we'll do is follow our way around it. So we're here, and yeah, there is like a lower level that isn't modelled, but above it's pretty stunning. So we'll just whistle down to this end, have a look. See what's down here, so we'll go speed up a little bit. So lots of airline desks that aren't modelled in so much detail at this end, but we'll come back and we'll go upstairs. And the big shock is how many levels there are. Okay, so we've got the luggage security through this end of the airport. Again, lots and lots of the scanners. There's a cafe. And if we go up again, got more cafes, more of the shops. It is amazing, isn't it? The level of detail they put into these airfields now. There's a bar at this end, people queuing up to go and get a £10 cup of coffee. And we can go up again. And you're starting to see the business end of the airport now, but we've only seen one half of the building. So again, more cafes. It's very nicely done, isn't it? But then, if we scoot down underneath here and come through onto the other side of the airport, we suddenly discover a whole nother world on this side. And again, look, level upon level upon level on the air side. It's crazy, isn't it? So once you go through security, I guess, you get to these different areas of the airport. There's a lift here. The lift doesn't go up and down, but it's nicely modelled though. So the lift shaft goes all the way down through the building. So if we do the same again, I'm just going to straighten the camera up slightly. So there is one bug here I discovered, which is this person that seems to be at the wrong height. I'm sure they'll fix it. But it is mad, isn't it? Just poking around inside this huge structure, and there's all this scenery in here. And people, there's people everywhere. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. And they are very good people models as well. Much better than you commonly see. So again, if we go up even further, we'll go in through here to this business lounge. It's very clever. Okay, so if we go flying out to the end of this building, you can see it doesn't just stop here. The whole thing is modelled to this sort of quality. So we've got the control tower. And the interesting thing is ground seems to be controlled from a separate tower over here. And again, it's modelled. There's people in here and there's screens and they're busy looking at the ground map. And you can see there's our A300 parked over there. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's very, very good. So let's go and carry on down the airfield and have a look at some of the other buildings. So we've got some logistics buildings and car parks. There's trees planted everywhere and bushes. It's fantastically well done. There's the fire engines and fire station for the airfield. So more service buildings. Let's speed the camera up a little bit. Okay, so you get the idea. It's an amazing achievement, to be honest. And of course, the scenery around the airfield is very cool. So doing approaches and departures from here is going to be fun because of the hills. Okay, so here's our A300 that we're going to be flying today. So it's worth pointing out, you can see these jetways have been, or jet bridges, have been modelled really nicely. And we'll see them animate in a moment. So if we go inside the aeroplane, and we go and look in the ground equipment, and we toggle the jetway, and watch outside, look at how well it's animated. Isn't that cool? So you can see the telescopic part of the jetway is extending. Door is opening. Now it will encroach through the 3D, so it's not perfect, but it's pretty amazing, to be honest. Okay, so we are going to go and fly the A300 today. And I will admit I'm incredibly rusty with the A300. I haven't flown it for weeks. So you'll excuse me if I get completely lost setting it up and have to backtrack a few times and remind myself of what I'm doing. So I need to go and check the controls here and look at the... I think I've got an A300 in here in the control configurations. If I haven't, I'll have to pick something just similar. Oh, was that it? I just went past it. A310. Inibuilds Airbus A300. There we go. Apply, go back, resume. So let's just check things out. Make sure yoke works. The toe brakes work. And the reversers are on the correct point on their axis. Excellent. All looking good. So, first things first, then let's go and get the airplane powered up. So, we're going to go and ensure the ground power is connected. So it is, because it says remove GPU. So then we'll go overhead and turn batteries 1, 2 and 3 on. 1, 2, 3. Let me check your volume level. Yeah, you've got 100% volume, so you should be hearing it. External power goes to on if it's available. There's external power down here. Comes on. And then on the lower half of the overhead panel, we go and put the APU master switch to on. And then we'll press the start button for the APU and that will fire it up in good time. We go back overhead and we can go and rotate each of the ADIR's system switches to nav, and then turn this to STS. Let me go down to the MCDU, and you can see it saying align IRS at the moment. That's all fine. So I'm going to clear all of the messages out of it. So before we go anywhere with this, I want to try some of the Simbrief integration, which I've never used on this aeroplane. So Alt 6 I've got set up to come to the tablet. So we're going to go back out of here, go into My Flight, and import from Simbrief. There we go. So Dubrovnik to Reggio Calabria. So we can view that flight plan, and we see the operational flight plan, which is good. Okay, so now we have done that. If we go back over to the tablet, to the FMC, will it not let us pick the route up directly from there? ACARS, request Simbrief. And that's done it for us. And now we can do align IRS. It's saying GPS primary down here, that's fine. That's fine. So the other thing that interests me is whether we can preset the weights from the flight plan. So if we go to weight and balance, yeah, we can update from Simbrief, look. So that's filled the aeroplane up, and then we can apply the load to the aircraft. So you've got passengers and fuel included in that. So that's done that. Okay, so if we go into, where is it? Oh, I can't remember what keys I've got set up. 4 is getting me the MCDU. So nav accuracy has upgraded, which is good. So if we go next page, we can see the data's in there. Next page, brings us back round again. So we can go and set our route up, basically. If we go and look in the flight plan page, it's pulled in the basics of the route, but it hasn't got the SID and the star. So we're taking off from LDDU, and we're doing, let me go and check this on Navigraph, runway 29 and the Bevy 3D with the Bevis transition. Runway 29, Bevy 3D, and we don't appear to have the choice of the transition, but we'll see how we get on with that. So that's all done. So if we scroll down, so LICR, let's go and have a read. We're going to be doing runway 33, FOSQ1R, and it's the RNAV into 33 actually. ZSL. Okay, let's see what we find out. So RNAV into 33. ZSL, and we want the FOSQ1R arrival. FOSQ1R. Excellent. So we insert that, and let's go and see if there's any discontinuities. We're just going to flick down through the whole of the plan. Obviously, we could do this with plan mode on the system here, so we could see it from here. So if we go and switch this over to plan mode, it will now center on, I think it's the second waypoint down usually. So then if you push this past, so you're pushing the display with the arrow, then you can step through your route. Yeah, it all looks fine. Okay, so if we could press flight plan to go back up to the top and come back to the map. So we need to go and do the performance data. and all of that good stuff on the MCDU. I will learn this eventually, the keyboard keys. I've completely forgotten them. Okay, so takeoff and approach data. So the V speeds, if we go into the calculator, I think it's just called, is it just called takeoff now? So we can sync this data. We're taking off runway 29. That's all good. So we should be able to just calculate. And there we go. So 156, 156, 160. 156 goes into V1. 156 goes into VR. We don't need to take off shift. Let's approach. It's all good. Go around. Yeah, we can leave all that alone. Okay. So I'm just having a quick look around to see if we've missed anything obvious. Cost index came in from Simbrief automatically. Yeah, so we're pretty much good to go on the flight plan. So next thing we do, let's go overhead and go and put the ground control on. And then on the lower overhead panel, we're going to go and do the no smoking. So we're trying to remember where all the switches are. They're over here, aren't they? So no smoking goes to on, seat belts can go on. And the lights, we can put strobe to auto, or the middle setting. We can set nav and logo to 1. And then on the trim, on the eyebrow panel, second column at the top, ATS goes to on. Yeah, I'm starting to remember this now. So this is similar to the A310, isn't it? If you don't have the inertial navigation aligned, then you won't be able to switch a lot of this on. It will just flick back off again. So window heaters can go all to on. So window heaters are here. Probe heats, captain, standby and first officer can come on. Flight guidance, computer panel. So this is the master control panel for the autopilot basically. So we're going to put the decision height on and set it to -5. Then we go to primary instruments and we'll calibrate the barometric pressures. I'll just press B to shortcut doing that. And we can uncage the backup attitude indicator, so we just hold the button on it and wait for it to stabilize. And there we go. Set the landing elevation, although we don't really need to do this now, but we could because we know exactly where we're going. So let's go and pull up the information on Reggio Calabria. So elevation's 95 feet, so I think this goes in hundreds, so we just want 100 on it. Okay, so back overhead. The APU will obviously be up and running by now, so we can turn the external power off. Back on the tablet, we can go and disconnect that from the aircraft. So ground equipment, remove the GPU. Do we remove chocks yet? No, we don't. Okay, so Alt 2 gives us overhead. Beacon light comes on, so essentially getting ready to start the engines now. Put all the fuel pumps on, so we can see the fuel pumps are up here. It's a lot of pumps, isn't there? And then APU bleed. We want the crossfeed should be showing a vertical line. APU bleed goes to on. And then it will turn around. There we go. So at this point we do pushback. So it's going to get rid of that warning. Oh, it's saying the cabin is not closed. The reason for that is because we had the jetway. So if we toggle the jetway, the door will transit on itself, on its own, I think. Let's have a look. Yep, the door is closing. Oh, we've got a... Where did that come from? I'm sure we didn't do that. Can we reset that? Interesting, that seems to be a bug, because we certainly didn't click it. Interesting. I wonder if it will remove itself from the aeroplane. Close all doors. I wonder if there's any cheat way of removing that. That seems to be a bug. I wonder if there's any way we can fix that. So, aircraft settings, instant tiller, instruments, refueling. Well, that's annoying. Aircraft maintenance. Reset emergency slides. Aha! We have found it. Yeah, that seemed to be a bug because we certainly didn't activate the slide. So, I'm just reading through all of the instructions. So someone's mentioned in the live stream comments about the oxygen system. Does it not come on its own? So it's over here. No, I haven't turned it on, have I? There we go. I must have missed it. I'm just skimming backwards through the checklist. Did I completely miss it on the checklist? I must have done. Unless it's further on and I haven't got there yet. So we've disconnected the ground power, we put the beacon light on, fuel pumps are on, we're ready to push back. So if I have missed oxygen, I'll have to revise my own instructions, which is going to be fun. So we're just waiting for the truck. We need to remove the chocks as well, so we've got a little bit out of step here. So ground equipment, remove the chocks. Make sure the parking brake is off. So I'm not going to try and start the engines during pushback. In the real world they would, but I'm not going to try and multitask because I'm terrible at multitasking. What we will do is have a little look at where we are. So we need to turn left when we leave. So we'll press Shift P there to stop, and we'll put the parking brake back on. Okay, so overhead we want to put ignition system A on. Notice it automatically cuts off the air conditioning internally. And we're going to start engine number 2 first. And there it goes. So you can see N2 is coming up. When it gets to 20%, we can advance the engine fuel control switches. So it's just coming up to 20, there it goes. So we introduce fuel and you see exhaust gas temperature immediately rises, the turbofan speed increases, and the fuel flow will pick up very soon. Or it should do. If we look overhead, you'll see the start 2 will go back. There it goes. So then we can arm start 1. Same deal again. So you've just seen the relays switch over, so the engine is now providing electrical power for some of the systems away from the APU. It's 20% on engine number 1. Mark says, galley power, pilot needs coffee. So you can see the various warnings are disappearing as the engines come up and fire up. Okay, so engines are running. So next thing to do is go and turn the ignition back off now. It's no longer needed. Post-engine start, APU bleed, it was already here, wasn't it? Goes back to off. And the APU master switch can go to off. So back in the cockpit, we can go and arm the speed brakes. Set the flaps for takeoff to 15 degrees. So let's go around. There we go. Set the nose light to taxi. So where is it? Here we go. I'm just following blindly my own instructions here, by the way. So then Alt-3, we can go and pre-configure. We can do this during the taxi, to be honest, but we're going to do it before we set off. So we're going to set the speed for the auto throttle to 200 knots. I'm going to go and pre-select our altitude to our cruise altitude. I haven't actually looked it up. Let's have a look at Simbrief. 35,000. Okay. And then can we push these to get, yeah, preset, that's good. What else do we need to do? We don't have to do flight directors in one of these aircraft. Doesn't have that concept. We could, but well, let's see if we can. Let's go and see if we can select nav mode. We can pre-select it yet. Can we select profile as well? Yes, we can. Okay, so then let's go and taxi. So let's go and head tracking on. Whoa, that's a strange place. We wanted to. Let me just double check the map. We're going runway 29, aren't we? So we want to turn left. That way. Okay, have I got problems here with... Have I not enabled nose wheel steering, or is it a problem with the controls? Is the tiller not moving? The tiller's not moving, is it? So is this something they have changed? Let's see if it's something we can influence in the tablet. Rudder controls tiller, there you go. We'll try that again then, shall we? That's better. Let's have a look from outside. Dubrovnik looks amazing, doesn't it? So you should find a link in the notes if you're interested in taking a look at Dubrovnik from Inibuilds. So it's in the notes of the video. I'm going to slowly taxi down to runway 29. Let me just check those sound levels. So yeah, you can still hear me over the top of it, that's good. So when we get onto the runway, we just need to put the landing lights on, switch TCAS on, and then we can go for it. So David's asking, do you think the A300 is worth it? Well, I think it's great. I think it's one of the better aeroplanes in the simulator. But it depends what you like flying and whether you like things to be realistic. If you like the kind of the more high fidelity aircraft, then I'm going to go for the full runway length because I can't remember how much for a takeoff roll this needs. Yeah, if you like the more steady level, as people call it, aircraft, then you like it. Inibuilds have put a tremendous amount of work into it. So I must remember, this has got a almost like a, you know, the thrust modulation system on the 146. It's very similar. So it's got an engine mode over here. I have to remember that. It's a lot more manual to set up and to fly than the later Airbuses, like the A320. It hasn't got the same level of automation. Obviously it predates them. Okay, let's put the parking brake on for a moment. Landing lights go to on. If I can hit them without the mouse moving away from them. Those can go to takeoff. Back down inside the aircraft we can go and put the TCAS system on, if I can remember where it is. Now, is it hidden inside here somewhere? I've got a funny feeling it is. Tuning. TCAS, there we go. TARA. I knew it was in there somewhere. Okay, parking brake off. And we've got a minimum range on the display. We've got a little bit of a run out before we need to have the aircraft stable. So, okay, let's go and put head tracking on because it looks nice, doesn't it? Being able to look around and so at least concentrate on keeping the centre line now. So if we watch the indicated airspeed ribbon, we'll see the performance markers appear, hopefully. Or not. Did I not confirm them? Maybe I didn't. autopilot on, auto throttle on. So it's targeting 250 knots now. Have a look at it climbing out. Flaps are coming up. Isn't it a gorgeous part of the world? And it's making that left turn into the first part of the flight plan. Okay, so we need to go and have a look at the departure chart. So we want to find out the transition altitude. Where is it? Why didn't they ever put them? There we go, 10,000 feet. Why didn't they ever put them in the same place? So you can see we're making this first turn. If we look in the aeroplane and increase the range now. That's interesting. This isn't the same as... Oh, we're doing a slightly different one now. Are we doing Amugo? I think we must be. We should have been doing Beavis. Interesting. Did we we've programmed the wrong route one, haven't we? Oh well. Yeah, this has got a crazy route. It's got it wrong, hasn't it? The import. So if we go direct Beavis, and then we'll be more like the real thing. So, yeah, we had programmed the wrong route in somehow, so we're just correcting that to an extent. There's always more to learn, isn't there? I obviously did something wrong configuring the MCDU. But as long as you know how to work around things, it's usually not such a massive problem. So landing lights are still extended. We've come through 10,000 feet now, so they can be retracted. Look how small that click spot is. I can't actually get the mouse to stay on it with head tracking. So we're going to do it without the head tracking. I had about 5 pixels to play with to do it. Okay, so we're climbing out towards 35,000 feet. You can see that's the target here. It's favouring accelerating at the moment because we've gone through 10,000 feet. Obviously, it can go to. It's going for about 318 knots by the look of it, and then it will start climbing. So let's reduce the range on this again. So we can see Beavis out there in front of us, about 30 miles out. Let's have a look behind us now. And watch Croatia disappearing behind us. So if you look where we are on the map, there's the airfield over there. So we've just looped around. And we're on our way now down towards the coast of Italy. We will actually overfly Italy on the way. We're going to go across the south of Italy and then come in on this interesting standard terminal arrival route for an approach into runway 33. Now it doesn't show it very clearly on here, but we could play some games and do like a manual approach. If I go and open LittleNavMap, you'll see what I'm getting at. He says, famous last words, as LittleNavMap takes forever and a day to load. There we go. So if I go File, New Flight Plan, No. So if I import, open it from Simbrief, download, create the flight plan. Right, so this is what Simbrief is saying. Okay, it's going to come, and again, it doesn't know what to do here. It's rather interesting. I probably need to do a database update, so anyway. We're going to come in from this direction, but look at this, there is an offset localizer for runway 33. So you can come down here. The reason for it are these hills. So runway 33 is here, but the hills are in the way, so you have to fly in alongside them and then turn in at the last moment. So yeah, it'd be an interesting one. It's one of the more fun, if you can call them that, offset localizers that you'll find in the world. Reggio Calabria, Lima, India, Charlie Romeo. Okay, let's see how this climb is going. So about 50 miles from top of climb by the look of it. Coming up to 18,000 feet. Oh, we haven't done the barometric pressure, have we? So that needs to be 2992. And 2992. There's three of them, isn't there? So we've got to go and do the co-pilot as well. So above the transition altitude, obviously, you're supposed to have standard barometric pressure. Okay, we can... Do we let the passengers get up at this altitude, or do we wait until we're at cruise? Should we be kind to them? Because there's nothing around. Seatbelt signs are off. They can go and make a stampede for the toilet. So Chattanooga is asking, are the transition altitudes in LittleNavMap? They are if you've got Navigraph. So while this is going on, let's go and update that scenery database. So load scenery. So I'm going to say load. And I'm letting LittleNavMap have another look at the scenery in the simulator. So we can just let it get on with doing that in the background. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's a shame that this doesn't have the localizer drawn on the map. If we go to Auto IFR, does that show it? No. I wonder if the approach chart does. This particular approach chart doesn't, but if we go and pull up the charts for the airport and look at the approaches, let's look at the different diagrams. Maybe they don't use it anymore. Maybe it's been discontinued. Because yeah, that's the chart for 3.3 that we've got, and there aren't any others. Oh, there's just, okay, here's one, look. So it still has got the localizer marked on this one. Localizer A, D and G. Okay, interesting. Are they any different to each other? Yeah, that would be the fun one to do, wouldn't it? So we want lock A, ideally. So that would mean you would come in over the VOR and fly out, loop, and loop back in for 3.3. I wonder if it's got it listed in the aeroplane. So if we were to go back to the flight plan and have a look, there's LICR runway 33. If we go to star, if we were to deselect FOSS, oh, it's the approach though, isn't it? So we went, oh, so it has got them, lock A33. And FOSS, now, let's have a look at the ones in Navigraph. So if we come back out of here, we want to actually come in over LICR, don't we? So on the approach charts, sorry, the star charts, we want something that comes in over LICR. So let's just have a look at them. Okay. FOSQA1A. So if we remove this and actually see them drawn on, we have to do it from the flight channel, don't we? From here, sorry. So this will change to lock A. Ah, there's some transitions as well. Add to route. So that puts lock A in. So that's just coming in on that localizer. And then if we change the arrival route to come in at LICR, if there is one, select an arrival. See, it's filtering for runway 11. We don't want that. We want 33. Cancel that. Runway 33. Add to route. Okay. Ah, but then it's saying that that approach doesn't work for that. So that it shows on the chart, but so let's try that again. Approaches, lock A. Add to route. And that's removed the runway. Yeah, it doesn't like it. We'd have to do it manually if we were going to do it. So maybe we'll leave it as it was. Which was runway 33. And the FOSQ1A. And the VOR, oh sorry, RNAV for runway 33 using ZSL, wasn't it? Actually no, it can't have been FOSQ1A. Remove. Select. It was FOSQ1R, wasn't it? There we go. So maybe we'll do the same. So we'll change that back out and put it back. So approaches. RNAV 33. No. Let's just go and double check that, make sure we haven't screwed anything up. So I'll put it back on plan mode. Got it on a 60-mile range. So you can see we're heading off down towards that end of the flight plan. We're just going to have a look. Looks wrong to me. That may just be because of the speed we're doing. So it's going to go through RCA before ZSL. Yeah, it shouldn't have RCA in there. It should be coming through FOSQA. I wonder if this has got it now. So if we could say OK to this, use the database. File. Open flight plan from Simbrief. Download. Create flight plan. Oh, of course, we already said, didn't we, that this wasn't right. Let's see if we can fix it. Activate Reggio Calabria, show arrivals. Approach RNAV33. We want the ZSL transition, insert. And then the star that we already had was FOSQ1R. Did I choose the wrong star? I think I probably did. So let's go back down here then. So LICR star. Yeah, I got the wrong star. So then we'll flick back through and we should see it's looking a lot happier. Has it now gone and missed off the RNAV33 ZSL FOSQ1R? Insert. It's having a bit of a turn, isn't it? RNAV33 ZSL FOSQ1R. Insert. That's better. So it's not without bugs, but it does work. So we'll put that back onto map mode. I just had to do it 3 times to get it to. Well, I had to remove the approach to get it to take the approach and the star. So it's saying the air is in the icing range, so we need to be careful. Although saying that at this altitude, you wouldn't expect that to cause a problem, but we can at least go and put the anti-ice on. So Magnum is saying, what's the main update? There's been hundreds of bugs fixed in the A300 and lots and lots of small improvements made to the avionics. A lot of them you would only spot if you were a professional airline pilot or if you had studied the aircraft in depth. You know, so if you knew this airplane backwards, which I don't, I'll freely admit, I fly too many airplanes every week to know any of them perfectly. For example, we're still in climb mode over here. Look, we should have gone to cruise mode. So yeah, there's been lots and lots. There's pages of updates that have been written up in the release notes for the aircraft. It's all on the Inibuilds website. You can go read it. So if we increase the range on the navigation display, we can relax for a bit. So we've got about 100 miles before we start descending. Let's go and see if I got an A300 performance profile for Airbus. No, I haven't. I'll use the A320. What will that tell us about distance to? So it's saying just after Ulken to start descending. Which is, yeah, it's the same it's saying for this aircraft, so it's not so different. Should we have a look outside? Does anybody else get these triangles that come out of the back of the engines on the big jets? They're not always visible, but you can see them sometimes. Yeah, you can see one there, look. Why did the engines just die? This is me being paranoid now. Oh, it's just reached cruise, so it's managing airspeed. We've got managed mode on the airspeed, so it's following the speeds on the flight plan. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go make a coffee because we've got a bit of time to wait before we start descending. So I'm going to take my opportunity and I'll be back in a few minutes. Take care. back again. So someone's asking about the liveries. Let's open the Ini Manager and have a look. So if we go to liveries for the A300, so there's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of liveries. Many liveries. I don't know if there's any more, but there's certainly a lot. So that's the normal passenger version, and the freight version there's not as many, but there's still quite a few. And the A310, there's lots and lots again. Yeah, it's still impressive. Big old heavy lump. Okay, so where are we in terms of the flight plan? So we're going to be top of descent fairly soon. So we'll go and set our target altitude in a bit. Notice it's in profile mode though, so it's not going to go crazy about descending. It should wait until it gets to the top of departures. Let's see if that behaves in that way. It should hold on at 35,000. So that's interesting, isn't it, watching the marker there. So if we hold shift on, does it go faster? No, we just have to sit here rolling for 10 minutes. Unless it takes distance into account maybe from the knob. No, it doesn't. I'm sure it increased faster earlier. So we'll just go and set this down to almost sea level. We'll go for like 3,000 feet. And then see how the managed mode works on the way down. I think you can influence the speed that this changes the altitude at in the tablet. Should we have a look while we've got some time? Tele disconnect. It's not in that page. It won't be in throttle calibration. Well, maybe you can't then. Should we get Navigraph working in the tablet? So if I open my mobile phone and log into Navigraph, use my Google account to log in, approve, allow, and it should burst into life any moment. Famous last words. Well, it's saying it was successfully linked with my Navigraph account. So if I go back in here, maybe no, it's not going to have it, is it? Let's try that again then. Maybe the code has changed, obviously, so maybe I was just too slow. Let's allow again. There we go. It's worked this time. So we should be able to put LICR in, and it will bring up the approach charts. FOSQ1R, wasn't it? There it is. Yeah, it's drawn very differently than Navigraph drew it. Let's have a look on Navigraph itself. So there's the standard terminal arrival route diagram, which just gets us to Zessel. But this doesn't actually have... Oh, it does have the route. So which chart was that? RNP runway 33. So if we're inside the aeroplane... Oh, it looks like the sim's on a go slow at the moment. RNP. LICR search approach so that's got Zessel, yeah, so there's the route. Interesting. Okay, so transition altitude on the way in is 7,000 feet. Let's keep an eye on this. Have we started descending? No, we haven't. But then I haven't told this to do it. So I've just pushed the knob on the altitude. If it doesn't begin descending, I'm going to take over descent. Yeah, it's gone way past the profile. This is bizarre. We have to cycle profile to make it do it. Now it's going. We're going to put the spoilers out to give it a helping hand. And get it back onto the profile. Coming down at 5,000 feet a minute, that's madness. We don't need anything like that sort of descent rate. So it's still saying that the air temperature is in the icing range. So it's minus 32 outside. But -1 is teetering on 0, look, so yeah, it's... So Cookie is saying, good to catch a live stream. Oh, so you get to see the mistakes live. The main reason for this evening was to look at Dubrovnik, so when I finish the street, yeah, it wants more drag look. It's coming up here, so I'm giving it more drag. So what I've done is just pushed out the spoilers a little bit, which are helping us descend a bit more quickly. Basically because I didn't realise you had to reselect profile for it to begin descending to the altitude. But again, that's just not knowing the way the aeroplane behaves. So that'll be Mount Etna over there. So we're going to do kind of a loop around and come back in. Reggio Calabria's down there. Speak of the devil, the aeroplane's turning towards Mount Etna right now. So this is Sicily. It's great fun flying GA planes around Sicily, by the way. Absolutely gorgeous scenery. And you can see we're getting closer to the profile now on the descent. So we should be able to even come back off of the icing warning has gone away as well. So we'll turn the icing measures off. And remove the spoilers. And see how we go. So you can actually see the end of the route now. I'm just thinking through. I never disarmed the... Oh, I suppose moving the spoilers earlier disarmed this on the ground. So in cruise mode, that's good. I'm just trying to think what we need to do next. Check the radio frequencies. Let's have a look. Runway 33, it doesn't have its own localizer, remember, so we are very much visual on that last run-in. Pilots doing this for real would have these numbers memorized at distances and altitudes, and it's very much a visual approach. So yeah, it's going to be fun. Look how much data there is to absorb. But hopefully the autopilot will help us around that. And if we do have to land manually, then we can just revert to, where is it? To knowing that there's the localizer there. So we could go and tune that in ahead of time, 109.3. 17 degrees. So if we go and look in the... Where is it in this aeroplane? There's air cars. Oh, it wants more drag again. Let's give it some more drag. Yeah, we've drifted above the plot again. Oh, of course it's over here, isn't it? The ILS. I've completely forgotten where it was in this aeroplane. So, what did we want? 109.3 and 17 degrees. So if all else fails, we can always revert to coming in on the localizer approach. Which, to be honest, might be more fun than doing the official route. Should put the head tracking back on. And we're coming down towards 10,000 feet. So did we say transition altitude was 7,000? Yeah. So we ought to go and find out the barometric pressure at the destination. 1013-2991. Or it says it's 0.01 away from standard barometric pressure. So not much to worry about. So vertical deviation isn't far off the profile, and you can see the route coming in now, so we'll go and reduce the range in the navigation display. We'll let this come down to 2,000 feet. So we should find some altitude restrictions along the way. So it's looking for can we get the waypoints to show up on here to give us a bit more information, maybe not about range. Oh no, here they come. Oh, it's not tremendously helpful to us. What about if we show the constraints? Yeah, that's better. The trouble is you can end up cluttering the displays up so much that they become useless. So it's holding just above 10,000. The reason it's doing that is to decelerate. You can see it's slowing down as we speak. And I've still got the spoilers out, which is helping it do that. Let's go and put the landing lights on as we come in through 10,000 feet. So Hopdig is saying he only puts his in open descent and it will disregard the constraints. I don't know because I'm not an expert on the aeroplane. I've only flown it, well, this is the first time I've flown the A300 in months. But I'm running in profile mode, and profile mode will, you know, go via the constraints. I've got the auto throttle in managed mode, so it's got the hyphens across it, which means, you know, I've pushed in on the knob to get it to go into managed mode. So let's go and reduce the range again. So we're just coming down towards 7,000 feet. And if you recall, actually we've got it over here, haven't we? 7,000 feet was the transition altitude. It's a shame this doesn't superimpose the aircraft. Or maybe it will when we get closer to... It'd be interesting if a little aeroplane starts drawing on here. So there's Etna in the distance. So we're pretty much on plan for altitude, coming down to 6,000. It will hold 6,000 through Zessel, then drop to 4080 for CR823, which is out here. It will also drop speed to 180 knots. So we'll have to start thinking about flaps soon. You can see it's already decelerating. So there's the runway. So you can see why it becomes such a job to get in there. It's not as bad as it looks, to be honest. If you look at it on a map, because you're seeing that one, which looks like it'll be a crazy angle to turn into, but we're not. We're going for runway 33. So we're turning away. Yeah, we're going for the runway that's across that way. Okay, so wing should level out. Speed is coming off, so we're going to go and start dropping the flaps. wants some more drag. Although I've already got the flaps out now, so it should be okay. So we can see we've commanded 15 degrees of flaps. The leading edge slats are already extended. You can see the outside now. There's the airfield. Okay, next level of flaps. And we're not going down steeply enough, so we're going to introduce some spoilers to let the aeroplane drop its nose. Constraints off. It's a shame you can't get a lower resolution, or sorry, a higher zoom on this. So the profile's coming back, which is good. Almost time to earn our money. So we're going to do basically a 90-degree turn here. Let's see what the autopilot does. I may take over at any moment if it doesn't handle it. So look how slow it is. So I've only let it come down to 1500 feet. So, autopilot off. You might have to click that to make it shut up.
A300. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
Doesn't want to land. Floated for miles, didn't it? That was the auto throttle, probably. I could have just shut the auto throttle and let it roll. Okay, we're down. We just need to backtrack now. I haven't got the study level version of this airfield, which would have other taxiways. Or the not study level, the high fidelity version. So you can see we're going to have problems turning around. And yes, I know you shouldn't really be flying a big aeroplane like this into this airfield, but it's too much fun not to do. So I first came here with My Air on a group flight night, and it was great fun watching everybody lining up for approach. You know, because it really does test you to do this airfield, to get it right, because there's no real option other than to go manual on that last corner, and to get rid of the speed and the lift. So doing this with an aeroplane that I'm not that familiar with was foolhardy. But at least it gave you some entertainment there of us coming in over the village and getting onto the runway. So yeah, it'd be worth having a look to see if there's a version of Reggio Calabria available for download anywhere. So we want to come off the runway. Strobes are on auto, so we don't need to worry about those. I'm going to put the nose light on taxi. Get in the way of all of the traffic, to be honest, because we're so big we won't fit on the parking area. Parking brake on. We can go back into the tablet and we can ask for ground equipment, so we can have, please have some chocks and attach the GPU, and then overhead, because we've got the GPU plugged in, get the external power switched on and cut the engines. And there's the relays switching over to ground power. So, I guess overhead we can go and do things now, turning off the fuel pumps. Oh, we don't need to do that, do we? Off. Probe heats can come off, window heats can come off. We don't need to worry about the APU because we're running on external power, so some of these lights can come off now. Engines are off, so beacon light comes off. Nav lights can come off, taxi light can come off. The seat, oh, we didn't have the seatbelt sign on this. Oh dear. So, turn the INS system back off, turn the mode back to test. I think we're more or less there, aren't we? Yeah. So we could just at this point go and turn the external power off. We never put the galley on, did we? But, oh well. Nobody had any coffee today. So, that was the A300, the updated A300. Obviously you can go through all the notes. I just wanted to have a fly of it to see, and it looks very good. It followed the profile down really well. And I brought it down all the way to 1500 feet on profile before I took over. And then obviously just, you know, disconnected the autopilot for the last turn into the runway. But yeah, really impressed. So there you go. So the earlier part of the video you saw the Inibuilds version of Dubrovnik, which is absolutely wonderful. I'll put another link and pin it to the top of the comments for you, so anyone that's interested in taking a look at Dubrovnik, it is a really great addition to the simulator. Okay, I'm going to leave it there and I'll see you all again soon. Thank you very much for watching and flying along with me. Much appreciated. See you soon.